Hi, this is Jocelyn. I'm the Student Success Specialist from the Learning Center, and today we are talking about mindful metacognition. So these are strategies to help you be aware of yourself as a problem solver, make the most of your study time, and improve your test scores. So what is metacognition? You can think of metacognition as thinking about thinking. So imagine that your brain has a magnifying glass and is looking at your brain. It's being aware of yourself as a problem solver and accurately judging your level of learning, thinking, am I really understanding what I am learning? Metacognition, like any skill or sport or talent, is something that gets better with practice. So we are going to talk about strategies today, and I know that as you keep practicing them, you will improve and you'll see improvements in your test scores, in your ability to understand your homework. So as a little bit of a pump-up pep talk, I want to show this video of a kid who just learned how to ride a bike.
Do you feel alive?
I feel happy of myself.
I feel happy of yourself too. What do you got? Any words of wisdom? What about for all the other kids trying to learn how to ride their bike? Can you say anything to them?
Everybody, I know you can believe in yourself. If you believe in yourself, you will know how to ride a bike. If you don't, you just keep practicing. You will get the hang of it, I know it. If you keep practicing, you will get the hang of it, and then you can get better and better at it if you do it.
Give me some thumbs up.
Thumbs up, everybody!
All right.
For rock and roll!
So I love that pep talk that you can just keep practicing. So think to yourself, what is the difference, if any, between studying and learning? And what do you think you do the most of in your classes, studying or learning? Here's another question for you. For which task would you study more? Would you study more if you wanted to make an A on a test, or if you needed to teach the material to the class? For me, I would study more if I needed to teach the material to the class, because on a test, I might just need to recognize the right answer or fill in the blank. But if I'm teaching in front of the class, I probably need to have slides prepared, be prepared to answer questions that my classmates might have for me. So what's the point of these questions? Well, I really want you to start thinking of learning in terms of analyzing, evaluating, and creating instead of just remembering and understanding. What I have here on the screen is called Bloom's Taxonomy, and this is a way to sort of categorize the different levels of learning. So at the very bottom, it's remembering, understanding. So maybe you just need to be able to define an idea or memorize it. But as we move up this pyramid, we find words such as application, so use information in new situations, or analyze, draw connections among ideas, evaluate, create, so make your own work, make your own argument. And as you are studying, you can think to yourself, do I know this information well enough that I could teach it to someone else, or that I could analyze this information or evaluate it, or am I just memorizing it so I can spit it out on a test? And you can also think back to when you were in high school. Maybe it was just last year, maybe it was many years ago, but what level did you have to operate on to make A's or B's in high school? The remembering, understanding, or the higher level? And what do you think is required of you now in college? Most students think that they could get by in high school with the very lower levels of remembering and understanding, but in college, so much more of is required of your learning. You need to be able to analyze, evaluate, create your own ideas and projects. So how are we going to move higher on Bloom's taxonomy? How are we going to improve our studying with metacognitive strategies? Well, I want to give you a couple strategies today that you can use to improve your studying and to have a more metacognitive mindset as you are learning. So the first is metacognitive reading strategies. I have a text here on the screen, and I want you to see if you can just read it on the screen and see if you can make any sense of this. With hawk gems financing him, our hero bravely defiled all scornful laughter, that he tried to prevent his scheme. Your eyes deceive, he said, an egg, not a table, correctly typifies this unexplored planet. This might be a little fuzzy, like what is this text trying to say? But what if I gave you some context and told you that this text was about Christopher Columbus's voyage? Then it makes a little more sense. The globe is like an egg and not flat like a table. So having that context of what the information was about really could help you understand a text. So when you are reading a textbook, make sure that you preview the text before you're reading. Look at the headings, look at the chapter summary. Try to get the big picture before getting lost in the details. That's a great metacognitive strategy to help you understand what you're reading. As you are reading, you can also develop questions and answer them as you read. If you can't find the answer in your text, you can bring those questions to your instructor. And then for the best reading comprehension, you can read the paragraph one at a time and paraphrase the information. It's a really good self-check strategy to see if after you read a paragraph, you could close your eyes and sort of summarize what that information was about. Then you know that you've actually understood it. Another great method for reading is the SQ4R method, and I have a video clip that will explain how to read a textbook with the SQ4R method.
This video will explain the SQ4R method of active reading. By engaging this method when you read your textbooks, you can overcome many of the difficulties you may encounter when dealing with hard to read and hard to understand material. SQ4R is an acronym for Survey, Question, Read, Reflect, Recite, and Review. Flip through the chapter quickly to get a sense of what is covered. Look at headings and key terms and read the final paragraph. Turn headings into questions to guide your reading. You can keep track of your questions by using the Cornell method of note-taking. Read the chapter, looking for the answer to the questions you posed. Think about what you have read and relate it to other information you have learned. Without looking at the text, restate your question and formulate an answer in your own words. At the end of the chapter, look over your notes and familiarize yourself with key points. Use the SQ4R method the next time you read from your textbook to better understand what you read. Happy studying!
Next, we can talk about some metacognitive studying tips that you can use for your math courses. So when you are studying for a math course or perhaps a science course, study the material first before jumping into your homework problems. Often students are just tempted, they want to finish the assignment, so they'll go to the assignment first and then try to look back and learn what they're supposed to do. It's much better if you can study the material first and then go to the problems. Then, when you get to example problems in the text, what are you going to do? Are you going to skip them? Are you going to look to see how the textbook solves the problems? This is the best thing you can do with the example problem. Cover up what the correct answer is or the steps how to complete it and see if you can do it on your own first based on what the material says. So work out the example problem until you get the answer and then check to see if the answer is correct. And if the answer isn't correct, try to figure out where you went wrong before immediately looking at the way they solved the problem. Try to figure it out on your own first. That will really bring that deep learning. And then after you've learned the material, you've worked on the example problems, then go to your homework and work on those homework problems as if it were a test. So don't look at your notes, just try to do it all on your own first. Now you might be thinking, man, this would take so long to do my homework this way. But actually, this will save you time, because you won't have to study as hard for your tests because you'll have been actively learning the information along the way. And you'll definitely save time if you get better grades on your tests and quizzes and don't have to retake tests or retake the course. So really think about implementing these deep learning strategies as you're working on your homework, so that way when you get to the test, you'll be more prepared. As just like you want to be really purposeful about your homework assignments, I encourage you to infuse your whole academic life with purpose. Commit to come to each class, whether that's logging into an online course or logging into Blackboard frequently throughout the week if you need to do that to do your readings, or coming to your class in person. Be on time, be engaged, and preview the information before class. The next way you can have purpose in your academic life is to set goals when you're studying. Don't just sit down and think, oh, maybe I'll do this assignment, maybe I'll work on my English homework. Really set a goal for how long you want to study for, when you'll take a break, what you want to accomplish, and what resources you will use when you or if you get stuck. Constantly be asking yourself questions such as why, how, and what if while you're studying, such as, what if I studied this with a friend? How can I organize this information? Why do I need to understand chapter 1 before chapter 2? Remember, metacognition is all about thinking, so ask these questions so you can investigate your thinking process. And the last thing, so important, is to assess your learning. Ask yourself if you know the information well enough to teach it to your class. Think about how you did on your last test or quiz, or if your instructor has given you feedback. And take all of these measures and think about if there are more effective ways to study, and constantly try to improve. The Learning Center is here to help you in your academic studies. You can get advice on study strategies, work one-on-one with a learning assistant or a tutor on course content, work on time management skills, and attend group study sessions. You can visit harvard.edu/learning center to access any of these resources and information. And I want to show you really quick at the end of this presentation. Currently, we have a website set up that you can access from the Learning Center homepage, and you can book appointments to work with learning assistants. So if you need help with your chemistry course, you could select the chemistry course and then choose the date and time you want to work with a learning assistant, fill out your name, your phone number, these other blanks about what you want to work on, and then you'll be sent a Teams link to be connected with that learning assistant. I hope these metacognitive strategies have been helpful for you and that you can apply these while you are studying. Thank you.